And we are live.
Hey,
Hello.
folks.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing?
I like how we went live and we said hello, and then we both had to adjust ourselves in the chair simultaneously.
That's right.
It's choreography, really.
Yeah, we choreographed about that about 15 years ago.
I hope everyone is having a great Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Join us live on Tweed Talks. We had a
Nice, interesting weekend,
yeah.
as always.
hmm
And
We did stuff, but we didn't really do stuff.
okay.
Like
And
it was
doing
low key.
and doing nothing sometimes is doing something.
hmm
Resting is doing something.
We were supposed to be resting, but then I said to you, this should be my cheat day. Let's drive to Roscoe, 30 minutes from our house, and let's get some ice cream.
Some ice cream, yeah.
So we did that, and
One of the girls that we have works at the ice cream place, so we went to see her
yep.
to say hello. That's not the first time that you had me drive a long way for something. One time you had me drive 2 hours for what was it? Muffin? It was a gluten-free muffin.
It's a 2 hours round trip, so an hour there, hour back. Don't let
Yeah.
them fool you that it was 2 hours there and 2 hours back, because
It's-
it wasn't. We drove to New Paltz, basically, which is, if you guys know upstate New York and you know the New Paltz area, New Paltz is beautiful. So really,
It's a nice ride.
really, he should be thanking me
Yeah.
because it was such a beautiful ride.
Yeah, it was a beautiful ride.
hmm
You know what else? But I tell you, one time when I used to dance, I think I told you the story before. We drove 2 hours after a performance. My friend Dr. Rosa wanted to celebrate. So we went all the way down to Chinatown, New York City, to eat some Chinese food to celebrate. And I was sitting there on the chair, and everybody was staring at me. And I'm going like, why is everybody looking at me? What? Do they not like me or something? But they kept looking at me up and down. And then I realized that I never changed the outfit from the
From
dance
your dance performance.
from the dance performance, right? But even that, I cover up because I have pants that used to open like on the side. So even that I cover up. I said, well, yeah, it's not that bad. And then I realized that everybody was staring at me because I still have my makeup on. So that's what it was. You could imagine all sorts of things. They don't like me. Well, but that's what was going on. What have you done that you thought back and said, wow, you know,
Wow, what?
like I can't believe I did that, and I was thinking something else.
I don't know. I don't have any of those stories.
You don't have those stories?
No,
Oh,
no.
Man, I have millions of them.
No, you are the story guy. You're just full of stories.
Yeah, but you know what? Stories are good because we met Dan a while ago, and
Yeah, a couple years ago.
his stories is fantastic. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic story. I always wanted to get him on the show. I wanted to find the right time to get him, and I think with him, any time is the right time. Actually, when you think about it, fascinating story that he has. We're gonna wait for him to come on so he can tell us about
reading a
it.
little bit of his bio, and it says he and his family moved 11 times before his high school graduation.
Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't, but that's quite impressive, and
It's like you're getting used to it and then
and
gotta
then
go.
you move, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we have some people watching. Let me see. We got Diane.
Diana, bless is saying, "Yippee! I caught you
Rachel.
live." Yeah, yes, Diana, we're
yes,
live.
Diana,
This
we
is
are live right now.
not the replay.
Not the
Charles
replay.
Heimlich. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Rachel. Hey, Rachel. Rachel is the pianist in our church.
I'm glad she's watching us live.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions that I'm going to ask Dan, and I've seen him talk before, so there's a commonality that we have is he does motivational speaking.
Yes, yes, I saw that.
And as I was reading that,
Hey,
there's some,
Angie.
hey, Angie Elizabeth, yes. And you know how you meet a person and you take an instant liking to that person. And then when
That's
you get to
happened
know
before.
better, right? When you got know more about them, then you realize why you had an instant liking.
Yes.
Because the first time that I saw him, I just had an instant liking to him. Oh, he's such a nice person, you know. But then reading his bio, then I realized, oh, that's why. And one of the things that you wanted me to show, hon, was a picture. I'm about, I'm about 6'2", 6'3", and you wanted you wanted to see the difference between me and him.
Yes, that picture. I remember you taking that picture.
Uh-huh. So,
Where were we? Was it Atlantic City or
no, that was in at Arnold.
Arnold's? Yes, yes.
So I'm going to show you a picture of me and him, and when so you could tell the difference between me and him.
Height wise,
I'm
yeah,
about
it was pretty funny.
I'm pretty big in stature. I'm about did it move?
No, I moved it because it was the wrong picture.
No, this is right picture. What? This is me before me and him. You see? That,
Oh, I love it. I love it.
you didn't see that coming, did you?
I did
Anyway,
not. That was funny.
yeah. I said I'm about 6'2", 6'3". And that's the difference between me and him. Okay, so without further ado, honey, we're gonna bring him on because
Let's
we
bring him
got
in.
some things to talk about.
Yes, we do.
We didn't put the air today.
Yes, we did.
We did?
We
Okay.
Hey, Pedro, how are you?
I am super good. How are
Very
you?
good.
I'm doing really good. It's good to see you both. Pedro, there was a picture of you and I and another a security guy taken at the Arnold a few years ago. I got to find that. Oh, there it
There
is.
you go.
Yep, 6'2" Pedro Tweed and those two giants there.
I think he was trying to get a more of a comedic response from us by showing the picture of you and the baby.
Oh, that's my little grandson when he was about 2 years old. He's a little bit older now.
Ah, so cute.
I gotta tell you, I miss going to the International Sports Hall of Fame. I missed it a couple of times. One
Well,
was because we had a gymnastic competition, and the
right.
other one we were, and she was doing a film, and I couldn't go.
That sounds
A movie
about right.
star. I remember that.
Yes.
Ha.
Can you keep a secret? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I saw. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's funny when you were talking earlier about people you take an instant liking to. And for whatever reason, when you first came to the, International Sports Hall of Fame and the Arnold years
Mhm.
ago, I'm talking 10, 12 years ago,
Right.
it's like we just gravitated to each other like a magnet. I liked
Right.
you, like me, and it's just amazing, how I feel close and a very good friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Even there was a time that I went and you weren't there. I said, "What's going on?" I,
Well, that
so
was I had my knee operated on. I had
yeah.
and I just came to make sure everybody was okay, and then I went back home. But I've
Mm-hmm.
never missed a one since Dr. Bob has had that Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
such an amazing event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an amazing
Just
event and a lot of amazing people and good, not
Yes.
just good people come to it.
Mm-hmm.
yes. I just think that's a great way to honor athletes because you know, sometimes they don't get a lot of accolades. So I just think that's such a wonderful event,
Well, and
to host.
the premise behind the whole thing was to honor athletes for what they did off the field, off the court, off of the gymnastics floor, as opposed to, like what they did for charity and helping people. not just
Right.
being a great ball player or whatnot, And I've learned so much from the guests that we've had in that Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's very interesting to see how each and every one of them give back in their own little way, whether it be to giving back to youth in the community or different organizations. I just think that it's really wonderful to hear.
Right,
Yeah,
giving back
yeah.
as well as
So let's
like
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What you were
I
going
was
to
going
say?
to just it's amazing to see how these people got to the level that they did.
Mhm.
Because everybody has 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 feet, thank God. And so it seems like we should all have the same abilities starting out as from day one. But yet these people became superstars. And was it, and I've always wanted to know, how did you do that?
Mhm.
Like, for instance, a great Nick, one of the greatest New York Knicks in history, Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Of
We
course.
put him in the Hall of Fame a few years back, and I met him, picked him up at the airport. He's just a guy, just a normal looking guy, and he kind of walked awkwardly, and he didn't look like, man, this guy couldn't be that great of a basketball player. So I asked, I said, how did you get to be such a great athlete? And they all paid a heavy price. Like he said, I lived with a basketball from the time I was in the first grade until the time I graduated from high school. He took a
Wow.
basketball to school with him every day. Sometimes he took 2 basketballs with him. And so, and that's the part people don't understand. You have to pay, just like in your business with the gymnastics, you have to pay a price.
Yeah,
How can, you can't just come in the gym and do a flip, a back flip, and a
exactly.
back bend things. You have to pay a heavy price to do that.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
what it's me, what people are willing to do.
All those countless hours in the gym, and not just during the week, but on weekends, and sometimes you're traveling on weekends, and
Yeah, sometimes 7 days a week.
yeah, and you're seeing more of the coach than you are of your own family. So yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think he froze.
Okay, there he is.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear? Can you hear us?
I'm here. We're glitching a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Glitching a little bit.
Yeah, you look like you froze a little.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. And
Okay, there you go.
Oh, he's buffering.
he's buffering.
Yeah, but reading his bio, just reading through some of the stuff, and he had how he overcame adversity, many injuries, and just never gave up.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if we can.
There you go.
Hey, I don't know what happened. It might be I might have a bad internet connection here. I don't know.
Okay.
We
can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Oh, thank you. Well, I can hear you guys, and you both look beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm going to post a comment from Louise Gosling. She says, that's commitment. That's what professionals do. Yeah, Louise, that is 100% right.
No, but it's extreme commitment. It doesn't break, but there's this extreme commitment that people become professionals, I think.
So, when did you start with your wrestling?
Yeah.
I could hear you. It's glitching a little. We could hear you.
I'm trying to. So this broadcast fading in and out. I don't know if it's right.
Yeah.
It's okay. We could hear you.
I'm not sure if you can hear us.
So, yeah. Let me see.
Well,
there you go.
Let's see. I'm going to try to get a better connection.
Okay.
Do you remember the days of like AOL dial-up? I remember using a computer and not having like internet connection, but just getting those AOL discs in the mail that said you
Right.
can use their service for 30 days for free. So I always did that. And that's how I would check. And I would go online using my brother's AOL Instant Messenger.
Uh-huh.
And
That's where we met John at the internet.
they
Okay, there you
they
go.
would and I would get instant messages that were directed to my brother, but I was the one online.
Okay. Here you go. Let me see.
Now,
There you go.
I think it fixed. It was my end.
Okay, so can you hear us okay?
I hear you great now. I think it was my fault. Something happened. My internet connection's real strong now. So.
Oh, okay. Good. Excellent.
Now we're back. We're back on track. See, I was going to do this. I will never give up. I refuse to give up.
That's right. That is your motto.
That's right.
And you never give up. So, so tell us a little bit about you as a young man. And as my wife was saying before, that you moved 11 times.
Before
when I was a little kid, my father was a United States.
Mm-hmm.
He got transferred all the time. He got transferred all over the country. So we moved. I went to, I'd say, at least 11 schools in 12 years.
Wow.
Always the new kid in school.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I was one of the tallest kids in my class. So somebody always wanted to pick on me. And I was always trying to figure out how I could fit in with the rest of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was pretty, you had to think. I think that's why I became, in sales as a vocation. I became a salesman as well, involved in sports and athletics, to never quit, never give up, and keep trying all the time. I figured like this: sooner or later, you're going to be good at something.
Right.
Like you might not have been the greatest fighter in the world, but you're one of the great gymnasts, great dancer. But because you kept trying, you kept figuring it out till you became really good at something.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way I, went along with it. It's just sooner or later I'll find a niche and I'll be good. And
you just got to keep swinging, huh?
Yeah.
And keep figuring. I mean, like with people, if they don't want you, they draw a circle to shut you out. You have to a circle to draw them in.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the way I grew up. You move to a town and you talk differently than people. Pedro.
Yes, I do.
Or you look differently than the other people in your neighborhood. You have a different name. I lived in places where people would say, you're Irish. I'd say yes. And it was like, and then they say, you're Catholic. I'd say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, then go home. So it's just, you see, I saw everything growing up as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's helped me become the person that I am. Because I'm not, first of all, I like everybody. And I don't judge anyone because like I said, I went to 11 schools, and every day you're the new kid, you're a dummy, you're just it's really difficult being the new kid all the time.
Right. Not only was I the new kid when I came up, but I was from a different country and didn't speak the language. The only thing I knew how to say was 7-Up.
7-Up. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, or somewhere in the metropolitan New York area, Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kidding.
I was in the Bronx.
What is your native country?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. I never knew. But
yeah.
Sammy Sosa when you were growing up?
Yeah. Well, not when I was growing up, but I knew Ricardo Carti.
Okay.
I was one of the biggest home run hitter in history. And Juan Marichal, that's when I grew up around. Yeah, I was little, but they were the big stars back then.
In the International Sports Hall of Fame, I think that we had one baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there? They put Johnny Bench from the Cincinnati Reds into the.
No, I didn't make it that year.
What year was that, Dan? Do you remember?
Probably 2016 or 17, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
You know, I think you guys have been to most of them, most of the
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
You know, were you there when they put in Bruno Sammartino and Earl the Pearl?
Yes. Yes, I was there. I was there. As a matter of fact, I took a video of you that I sent you, because that's when Evander was there.
I got that. Yes, that we had Evander Holyfield.
Right. You were talking. You were interviewing him, and you didn't know I was taking a video, and I sent it to you.
I know. I love that. And
Yeah.
Evander beat Buster Douglas.
Right.
That's became the heavyweight champion of the world. And
Right.
I had fought Buster Douglas as an amateur, and then in a pro fight, he beat me both times. But you know, the guy's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so.
But the thing
That
about
was his first fight, right?
yeah, his first fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he taught me that boxing, that I was good at boxing, but I wasn't going to be great at boxing. You know?
How nice of him to do that.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield. Okay, so I had never seen anyone as relentless as Evander Holyfield. I mean, you know, if you watched him, his fights, he never took a backward step, and just kept coming and coming, and no matter what he was getting hit with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Riddick Bowe almost practically killed, and he kept coming and kept coming, and you know, and he beat Mike Tyson twice. So
Right.
and I asked him, I said, because I've seen Holyfield, you know, in the dressing room before fights, and he would start crying. He would get worked up so emotionally that tears would be running down his face, and he would actually be crying all the way to the ring. And I just asked him, and he just got so into it, and refused to get hurt. He refused to lose, and I mean, you know, you find very few people with that kind of drive in them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was reading through your bio, Dan, and it's saying how you have also done several sports, football, you did wrestling, also basketball, but you had to deal with a lot of injuries.
I've had you overcome your injuries. I've had back injuries. Well, you know, like so in basketball, I hurt my knee and I couldn't really play anymore. So I started boxing, and in boxing, I mean, you better know when to quit. Like I thought it was just not for me as far as long-term success. And then the wrestling, I got into the pro wrestling, which was probably the most funnest thing I've ever done. But it's also harder than any other sport that I've ever been in. And I did get hurt. I had a 500-pound guy fall right on the middle of the small of my back.
Oh.
And I was supposed to, you know, it was a missed move. He was supposed to do something, and he slipped and missed, and all 500 pounds crashed on my back and messed it up really bad. It took me a couple of years. This was 20 years ago, and my foot's still numb from that accident.
Wow.
So you went from sport to sport because of injury, like you hurt your knee, so you moved on to another sport.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Like, because I wanted to try it, and I was lucky enough to be blessed being a bigger guy. So people wanted, you know, oh, you want to be a boxer? Okay, well, you could fight this guy because you're a big guy. Or you want to be a wrestler? They trained me to be a wrestler, and it was really different, very different. It's like gymnastics. There's me with Bobo Brazil right there. And I wrestled him probably 30 or 40 times in my.
Oh my gosh!
And that night, that night, we were giving him an award. The mayor of Columbus, Ohio, made it Bobo Brazil Day, and Bobo got a gold medal and the key to the city and everything else. And then, but he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he was known as the Jackie Robinson of professional wrestling, because when he came into pro wrestling, he was Bobo. You saw he's like as big as me, and a big black guy breaking into wrestling back in the late 40s, early 50s was unheard of.
Right.
He was one of the first that, that wasn't just an opponent, a guy that gets beat up all the time. He became a top name.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which if Bobo was alive, man, he had stories that you would not believe.
Yeah.
And he's a good talker, so he could talk his way into places that other guys wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's a talent in itself. So Dan, did you wrestle in high school?
I did. I was playing basketball and had a disagreement with the basketball coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke a bunch of team rules. Okay. And on Friday night, I scored 32 points and set a school record for rebounds and blocked shots.
Of course.
At noon, I was on the wrestling team, because between Friday and Monday, I had gone out and partied and I wasn't supposed to. I paid the price, and the high school wrestling coach let me come out. I wrestled every varsity match. I had a winning record. I won the league. I went to the district tournaments. Because that's another thing where you're embarrassed. I was mad at myself for doing, getting removed from the basketball team. So I really forced myself and pushed myself to be successful, because I didn't want the other kids. First of all, they were all laughing at me because I got kicked off the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the kid in school. I was the only kid in school that could dunk a basketball, and now I'm walking around in the halls. And so the wrestling coach let me come out, but all the kids were saying, look, you're ready. Get up there with those wrestlers. And so I just forced myself to be successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my first life lessons too.
Wow.
You do the crime and you do the time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to live with mistakes that you make, and if you make them, that's on you even more.
Mm-hmm.
That's such an amazing story, to tell, and a story of encouragement, because, you have people who make mistakes and they get down on themselves and they're never able to get back up again. But you were able to turn those disappointments into something else that was positive. Like, into a triumph. You go on to something else and you're successful at this.
Well, like I say, as a youth, I guess I was blessed with, like, the wrestling coach let me come out for the wrestling team, even though I was a bad boy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I had encouragement, and I had reverse encouragement. Like if someone tells you you're nothing, you're nobody, you're no good, you can take that and you can sit with that and be, oh yeah, and go, to the opposite direction, or you can say, oh yeah, well, I'm going to show you.
I'll show you.
and that, and then you had, so we had this one teacher in school, and he was one of these guys, a Midwestern type, Southern type guy. He couldn't pronounce the name O'Malley. He sure couldn't pronounce the name Pedro. He called Pedro. So one day I was out, in the hallway, and he said to me, he goes, O'Malley, he said, you're about as agile as a bull elephant. And a couple guys laughing. Well, something clicked inside my head, and I said to him, I said, sir, I said, you're a school teacher, and you're in a position of authority in this school.
Wow.
I said, you are making fun of me, telling me I'm as agile as a bull elephant, when you should be lifting us up and encouraging us to do stuff. Right. And he kind of looked at me and kind of like, and then just turned around and walked away from me. Well, this other football coach that I had came up and put his arm around me, and he said, I'm going to give you credit. He said, because you're not afraid to try anything. You're not afraid, because I played football, I played basketball. I tried to throw the shot put and track, and I wrestled. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I got encouragement from both of them, the
Right.
negative, but I
Yeah,
took the and turned it into a positive, and then I also kind of enjoyed the positive and
Mm-hmm.
encouragement.
that is such a great
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
This
Because
gives
a
such.
lot of people don't realize it, because the same thing with me when people were telling me that I couldn't do certain things, that actually motivated me,
Hmm.
you know. And so, oh, you can't do those push-ups. It's never been done. So I did because they told me I couldn't do it. But at the same time, there's some teachers that told me that I could do anything I want. It's either you take it
Hmm.
or you leave it, you know. And what you got to do is know your direction, where you're going with it. And no matter what they say, it doesn't affect you.
Hmm.
And here's a message that I want to try to convey to people. If you're not good at something, if you're not good at one thing, you're going to be good at another.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's where you got to keep trying and keep keep going, keep trying different things until you're successful or good at something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that, that applies to life, business, everything.
Right. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, well, I've been in sales for that's another. I wanted to be a salesman, so I became a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, I went to school to be an industrial engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a job as an industrial engineer, and I liked it, but saw these guys coming in big factory driving Cadillacs and getting out with nice suits on and had nice watches and rings and everything. And so I asked this old guy, "Who are those men? And what are the?" He said, "Oh, those are the steel salesmen and the salesmen from the big companies. The
Mm-hmm.
IBM guy, this guy." And so I thought, wow, I said, I think I want to try that. I want to be that. So I kept looking, and so I got into sales, and I became good at it, and
Mm-hmm.
then I worked my way up, and I had my own business, and I've had a manufacturer's rep business now for the last 25 years, and
Mm-hmm.
working for myself, representing paper mills who don't
Hmm.
have a sales force. A lot of these companies today, they don't want to pay out the benefits. They don't want to, sadly, you see how our
Okay. So they
everybody
contract out
have
to. Mhm.
agencies and this and that. So I capitalized on that, and I've become the sales force for a couple different paper mills. And
Mm-hmm.
and because of my sports background, I also do speaking after dinner speaking. If you want to, like they call one time Sports Illustrated did an article about boxing, and I was in it, and the guy called me a minor league celebrity. So
Okay.
I I'm certainly, to all of us, we're all major leaguers to each other.
That's
But
right.
in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I'll take that. I'll be a minor league. So so I speak after dinner at different places about my life and how you can turn things around. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Talk about like where I was never on a winning team. You know, I got cut from basketball teams so many times I lost track, and I kept going out in college. I got cut from the basketball team 3 times before I made it finally.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the message: is just keep trying and don't quit, and don't give up, because you will
Mm-hmm.
succeed sooner or later if you want to. Here's the other thing, right? If you want to, you will.
Yes.
Ooh,
Right?
I love
Yes.
that.
It's
If
that
you
simple.
want to, you will.
Yeah,
Right.
I just dreamed that up too. I didn't get it out. Well, I had this book that's like a million quotes and quips, of
Mm-hmm.
saying, uh, yeah, if you want to, you will, and if you want it bad enough, you'll be good at it too.
That's right.
Dan, we're talking about all of your success and what you went through. Tell the viewers about your experience in college.
The collegiate experience.
Yeah, yeah, how you did in college.
Well, okay. Once again, I'm a hard study or a hard case. I went to college. I went to one college, and I ended up flunking out. Flunked
Mm.
out of college first time. I actually partied my way right out of school because I made the basketball team, and it was such a celebration. I forgot to go to school, and so I only played for one semester because my grades were bad. So I
Mhm.
went back to college, and I found myself the first time when I was out of college. I woke up in a steel. It's like, you're partying one day, and the next day I'm in a steel foundry where it's like 300 degrees, and I'm shoveling castings into a furnace
Mhm.
Mhm.
down to for other things. And I said to myself, after a steady diet of this, coming out in the morning, coughing up, black stuff out of your nose. And uh, I said, man, I got to get back to school.
Mhm.
Went back to college. And in fact, the company that I became an industrial engineer,
Mhm.
they hired me to work in their factory. And they had a program that if you got an A in your college, they pay 100% of your tuition. B's
Wow.
Wow.
got a C, they pay half. So
Mhm.
went back and I got my degree, uh, and I ended up graduating just 1 year behind all my other classmates. I flunked out, laid out for like 9 months, and then went back and graduated because I realized that even though today, I hate to say this, I don't believe that everyone needs a college degree, but to open the door to certain things, you have to have a college degree. Or if you want to be a
Mhm.
teacher, you have to have a college degree. Or if
Right.
you,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, just about anything that you need a degree. But
Right.
you don't need a degree to be successful, though, if you're going to be an entrepreneur.
Right. Right. And how did you meet my friend Dr. Bob?
Dr. Bob Goldman, the legendary.
Mhm.
Well, it's not a long story. I'll tell you that. Uh, for years and years, when I was involved in professional wrestling, I trained at the gym that Jim Lorimer, owned
Oh, okay.
gym in Columbus. And
Excellent information.
one year, this is way before Dr. Bob ever started the Sports Hall of
Right.
Fame. It was when
Mhm.
you remember when he was involved with that guy that they had the Fitness Hall of Fame. Do you remember any of that? Or it was before the International Sports Hall of Fame. He was involved.
Okay.
Anyway, I was working out, and Jim Lorimer said, "Hey, look, we got this high-profile doctor. He comes in every year, and he sponsors a lot of events. He sponsors this, he sponsors that, and uh, we need a bodyguard for him." And I said, "Hey," and he said, "Would you be interested in being his bodyguard and taking him around to certain venues, making sure that he's safe?" And I said, "Sure." So I went and I gave Dr. Bob the royal treatment, like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, like he was the king. Hey, stop everybody. Hold on. Dr. Bob on through, that. And so he like and when we both hit it off really well, we had a lot of fun. So,
Mhm.
and I introduced him to a lot of people that he really didn't know, like in the martial arts world. Like,
Mhm.
him to Alan Goldberg, Master Goldberg, Chuck Zito,
Okay.
people like that I knew from my days. And
Mhm.
we hit that. So, and then Jim just said, "Hey, Dr. Bob wants you to be with him all the time, every year." So it's been that way for the last 12, 14 years.
Right. Right. Well,
So,
he's smart, so he made a good choice.
Mhm.
uh, well, tell you what, Dr. Bob's one of the most laid back guys I've ever met.
Very much.
Mhm.
Just very easy going. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't help but like him, and he'll do anything for you. You know.
Yeah, he's that type. He's that type. I know him since we were teenagers.
How did you know Dr. Bob?
I used to work at a hotel, and
Okay.
I used to do martial art exhibition.
Okay. I didn't realize. I remember you're one of the top martial artists in the country as well as the gymnastics guy,
You,
right?
you know, you know how people are doing what they call tricking now? You know,
Yeah.
like it's martial art mixed with flipping.
Yes.
Well, me and my brother kind of started that years and years ago before anybody knew what it was. So, and Dr. Baba and I met, you know, like when I came to the hotel, they said, "Oh, you got to meet this guy. He's a great martial artist, you know, he knows the nunchucks and things like that." And then after that, you know, we been friends ever since.
I'll
But
be
I was like 18, 19 years old.
so it's just like 20 years ago.
Hmm?
So that was just like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you do the math,
Yeah,
right?
if you, we're not going. We're not. And then he also very inspiring because he was setting world record back then, and he did world record for a handstand push-up. And then I developed my own push-up where I did a world record, but it was inspired by him actually.
Uh, yeah, he did the handstand put. I went and stayed at his house with him and his parents. I went for the holidays one year, and his dad took me down the basement, showed me all these beautiful drawings and paintings.
Yeah.
Dr. Bob did, and he
Hmm.
was telling me like Bob would stay up. He'd only sleep 1 or 2 hours a night, and he would do all these things. Like he's just an extraordinary person. I mean, he
Right.
doesn't get much sleep, and he just works all the time. And I didn't realize that he was an X-ray technician. Was his
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you probably first met him? He may have been working at Jack LaLanne and
Yes.
going to school to be an X-ray technician or something.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so follow his career. It blows your mind. So then he went to school for to be a chiropractor, and then he
Right.
went to be an MD, and
Hmm.
and then him and that guy invented these medical devices. It's just
Invented. Yes, he invented a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
He
we
was
had him
person.
on. We had him on some time ago, and just we couldn't list all of his accomplishments. It was just
yeah,
Yeah, we only had.
you
pretty
would
intense.
know just to list his accomplishments for sure.
Yeah, we had. It was like a book.
A book,
We had- so
Yeah,
we didn't miss everything, but we had a lot of fun with him.
yeah, he's a good guy. If I would
Super.
have known that I was going to be on camera, I would have dressed better. I just had my
No. I was
You
just
good.
about to ask you, who is your Celtics jersey?
it's just a warm up jersey. No,
Oh, it's a warm
no,
up jersey. Oh,
but
okay, okay.
but my all time favorite number one Celtic would be Bill Russell
Oh, okay.
from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
the guy. He was the center for the Boston Celtics, and he beat up on Wilt Chamberlain. Could never get over on Bill Russell.
Yeah.
You know
Some
that?
of the
You know
what
about that?
one of my favorite things to do is watch like old either basketball documentaries or series, anything before like current basketball years from like I would say probably like the 70s to like the middle 2000s.
Okay.
Some of my favorite things to do. That's why I asked you who your jersey was, because for some reason I thought you were gonna say Larry Bird, because that's who
Ah, yeah.
everyone has that jersey.
Bird. Definitely like Bird, uh,
Hmm.
but I like Robert Parrish
Hmm.
and some of that whole crew. Dennis Johnson uh, and that original crew. But Russell is by far the one that I like for he was right in the middle of the turmoil, and
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
champion. My two favorite basketball players would be Bill Russell and then Earl the Pearl Monroe from the Knicks.
Earl the Pearl. Yeah.
But when I was in high school, like I went to school in the Midwest, and of course, these redneck coaches were out there goofing around the basketball court, and what did the coach say? He said, "Well, you guys stop that Earl the Pearl stuff." And from that's all he had to say, because I wanted to know who is Earl the Pearl. I wanted to find everything out about him when he was. And man,
Yeah, my dad used to talk about Earl the Pearl. We want to show another picture?
Sure.
that's me. That's Lonnie Keeper, the where he was one of the MCs of the Arnold Classic, the Arnold Sports Festival.
Mhm.
Ah,
He also does a big West Coast. There's Dr. Bob with me.
sorry.
That's
Oh,
okay.
next one.
Next one we'll go to Dr. Bob. We were just chatting about him.
Boy, that's a good-looking guy standing there with Dr. Bob. I know that.
Yeah.
I know, right? Looking sharp in the suit.
That's my favorite right there. Giving him the marks every year at the International Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Evander, there's Pedro
Love-
might take that picture.
Yeah. I think I took that picture, right?
Yes.
Oh, what is this? This is a boxing picture, right? Look at
Yeah.
that
That was after one of my fights that I won.
Yeah.
guy.
I could tell. I could tell you won that one.
I was scared to death. Now that's my cousin. Okay, that guy. That's my cousin with Bill Russell. My
Wow.
Okay.
went out for the Celtics. Was the last guy cut, and then he became a coach. And Bill Russell came and played in his summer league every year.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah. There's a nice guy.
You look like you're about to order some lunch in that one.
That was at the New York Athletic Club. Yes, I was going to order something.
Mhm.
I wanted to know what the soup was.
So, Dan, we have a question from
Sure.
Louise. Did you know Ulysses Garcia? He was a basketball player and her friend Mike Adams was pro.
I wish
Ulysses,
say
yeah.
I did, but I didn't. There's a lot of people in this world I know, but there's also some that I don't, unfortunately.
But you know all the wrestlers.
I bet.
All the wrestlers, right?
Say one thing, I was blessed to be in the WWF locker rooms back in the 80s and the 90s.
Mm.
I was going to, like doing a job where they tell you you're Charlie Brown from out of town and you come in here and get beat in 5 minutes. I did
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
some of that. That's another thing I learned. I wanted, I had a chance to go with the WWF, and they were so brutal though and rough as far as like the managers and the people. It's not like you get they said we'll give you a contract. We'll give you a guaranteed $100 per match, just $100. And then they also said, you're gonna be who we tell you to be, and you're gonna do what we tell you to do.
So you have more than one name when you were wrestling, right?
Well, from around here, and when I was in the minor leagues of wrestling, I was Mr. 90210, Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
Handsome Danny Banks. And,
All right.
Handsome Danny. Danny Banks.
when I was handsome. That was when I was.
I love that. I love that stage name.
You still are.
I love the 90210. I got over with that. I mean, I wrestled all over using that,
Mhm.
gimmick.
Mhm.
But then when it was time to go with the WWF, like I said, they said, you'll do what we tell you to do. You'll be who we tell you to be. And so you would come, you didn't get to be Mr. 90210. You'd be, and you'd be John. They like
Whatever.
from New Rochelle, John Smith. And you didn't even get to, do it. You just wave to the people and then get beat. So that was how they did that. And then if you catch on, though, I mean, and you go up the ladder, but I didn't have time for that. I had a family too, man. Family's what's the most important thing to me.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the most important thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, what makes a person successful? Is it money? Is it happiness? Is it family? You got what's a person's definition of success?
I think it all depends on the person.
You hit the nail, boy. You hit that nail on the head for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people description of happiness is a lot of people is different things. Some people, if I have money, then I'll be happy. But I know a lot of people that have a lot of money are not happy.
Mhm.
I think
And
it's rent happiness, but they can't buy it.
Right,
right,
right, right, right.
right. I always say don't chase anything.
There you go. Don't chase
Because if
nothing.
you're chasing something, that means there is something that's getting away from you.
Right, right.
But I said hold hands with it and work with it. Like if you want money, then hold hands with it. If you want a beautiful lady, hold hands with it. But chasing it means that what you're chasing is trying to get away from you.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
that's why I said don't become friends with what you want rather than chase it.
that's it. Don't embrace it. Don't chase it. How's that?
That's right. Embrace it, don't chase it.
Okay,
Put it down.
I'm writing that one down too.
That's on my next book.
Embrace, embrace it. Don't chase it. I like
That's
it.
right. Hold hands with it and become friends with it. Introduce yourself to it, because a lot of people don't even know themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
have a conversation with yourself and say, "Who are you?" Because a
Oh,
lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are so busy trying to.
I've had those conversations with myself, and I've been very disappointed. You know,
But,
like when you're not doing the right thing and you're not living right. I mean, you can be very disappointed with yourself, but that's when you have to rise up and get moving again, right? You
mhm.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
we're not perfect.
Never, never. We always trying to reach for, but you there. You're going on your, as they say, destination. Which changes all the time. Your
Mm-hmm.
destination changes all the time. But I noticed one thing that is in common. When I was a kid, they used to pick on me, just like you were saying. But out of desperation comes invention.
Yes,
So we create new things because we don't like the place where, like if we're sitting on a couch like this, right? And I feel uncomfortable, I have to move. I don't stay there where I feel uncomfortable. So when people are picking on you, that's one of the things that I say. People, if they're picking on you, you have to move in order to get comfortable.
right.
So that's one of the advice I give the kids. Once you pick your destination, just go. It doesn't matter what they say about you.
Well, the picking. I mean, today it's a little. I don't know. In my day, Pedro, in your day, uh,
Hmm.
someone picked on you. Um, you could say something back to them, and
Hmm.
then elevate or escalate to fighting. I
Right.
mean, one thing in my life, I never picked one fight, never. But I had dozens and dozens of fights in the street when I was a young man because, um, but I never picked them. Never started
Right.
one. But I was also not afraid of a guy. Just like when a guy's making fun of me, I'm going to say something back to you, and then and hopefully what I say to you is going to make you mad enough to come swing at me. Uh, but I don't think kids can do that today. I mean, it's not
Yeah, you
politically
get in
correct,
trouble.
uh, but how do you handle a bully? That's the sad part today. How does a kid handle a bully?
Right.
Yeah, they used to pick on me because I was skinny, and then after I kicked them, they never picked on me again.
Exactly. They picked on me because I was tall and skinny and the new kid, and then pretty soon they never picked on me again either. Get I would always get called names by kids, like because I was tall. So and I would tell these kids, I said, you don't have permission to call me that,
Hmm.
and they would laugh at me. I say, and then I would give them the benefit. I would say, listen, don't like they call me Milton the Monster or a goon, and
Hmm.
say you don't have permission. Don't call me that. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, these kids that would make them say it even more. And I'd say, hey, don't do that. And I'd give them enough warning, and I'd blast one of them, and then they'd be sitting there crying or mad, and I'd say, don't call me those names. You don't have permission to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the word got around, and they just called me Dan.
Yeah,
They just called you Dan.
yeah. With me happened where most of the people that used to try to pick on me when I got, when I was like 18 years old, and those people became my students afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, you the special treatment.
With the martial art, yeah,
Yeah,
they became my student afterwards. So
after you showed a couple of them's heart beating in your hand, they kind of quit messing with you.
yeah, yeah, that's about actually witnessed somebody challenge me one time, and he talks about it all the time. But yeah, I'm a peaceful guy.
Yeah, I think
Love, love.
if you want to, most of your quote unquote badasses in this
Mhm.
world are guys that like Dr. Bob. Man, he could whip his weight in Wildcats. Uh, so could you. And these guys are very nice, peaceable, fun-loving guys. You can, tease them, push them. You know what I mean? Joke around with them. They don't go around with chips on their shoulders.
That's right.
No, we're the ones who finish the fights. We don't start them; we just finish them. Somebody, oh, this Louise, man, she's a nice lady.
She's a
Louise
tough lady.
is a very nice lady. So I just
She,
read the comments she made.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
She used to be a cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
In the city, or
and
I don't know.
oh well.
Norfolk, Virginia, I think.
My
Yeah.
dad was my dad was in law enforcement for 40 years,
Hmm.
Wow.
and to this day I don't know why I didn't follow in his footsteps.
Hmm.
Unless maybe he encouraged me to be in sales and do this and do that, and he always used to tell me, hey, if you fail, if you can't be a salesman, or if you do this, you can always come back and we'll get you on the police force. He never did.
So go ahead.
Dan, your story is so inspiring. And I wrote down those two quotes that you spoke out. So
Hey,
when we post and share this video, those two quotes we'll make sure those two quotes are at the top, because I absolutely think they are 100% worth sharing.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you two, I don't know how, you guys make such a lovely couple. Um, and Pedro is so fiercely protective and in love. I don't know how to say it, but you're his world, and he's your world, and I just enjoy seeing you guys from a distance like that. I respect that. I like it.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
we
you.
will see you soon. I
Yes.
think we're coming up this. If we don't have any competition, we're coming up for the
Well,
next.
I'll have to. I'm out. I come through New York you know, every month or so, 6 weeks, going upon my sales routes and giving.
What part of New York do you come to?
I come to the city, and go then of course upstate, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, Binghamton.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you're in Binghamton, let us
Let
know.
us know.
Or are you guys near there?
Hour and 20 minutes.
And what town would that be?
We're in
Monticello.
Monticello.
Oh, Monticello. Okay. Isn't there
Yes.
a track there? Like
Yes.
harness track or something?
Yes.
Mhm.
There is.
My uncle was a horseman, so I know about all the tracks.
Mhm.
I'll have to make it a point to come through Monticello for sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll
Absolutely.
show you a very good time. There's lots going on. Lots going on.
I'm looking forward to it.
So you missed that last part.
I said I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dan.
You know what? This has been a blessing to me. It's got me motivated, and I just appreciate it. You guys having me tonight.
Oh, it was awesome to have you.
Likewise.
All right.
Likewise.
See you guys soon.
Okay.
Thanks. Have a great night, Dan.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, wrestler, boxer,
If you want to,
business.
you will. Embrace it. Don't chase it.
Yep. Embrace it, don't chase it.
Listen, does it get any more simple than that?
Life is simple. We're the one who make it hard.
Yes.
Yeah. Life is simple. We make it hard by doing the wrong thing.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Jian, for watching. Jesus, thank you for hopping on. Much appreciated. Louise was very busy tonight with comments. I love it. Thank you
Love
for
that.
watching, Rachel. Angie, thank you for hopping in. I know you're probably off by now with the kids, making
You know
sure they
me?
get into the bed. Yes. So, you guys, we want to thank you for joining us for another Monday night on Tweed Talks. We will see you next Monday.
Next Monday.
Same time, same
Yeah.
channel. Hopefully the weather will be a little more cooperative because the last 2 Mondays, last Monday, it was glitchy on our end. So we had to go out and come back in. Thankfully, when we came back in, the channel was all clear. But I saw the Wi-Fi going in and out during the interview, even on our end.
Right.
So
You know, right.
hopefully,
Yeah. But
next
I hope
Monday
you
we'll-
got, I'm sure you got a lot out of it. Yeah, well, coming up, we're not going to tell you until midweek because we have the list. We're going down the list. You know,
I
so
don't know what list you're talking about. We have a list.
yeah, I have a list of guests. So
You guys, I just show up and sit in the chair.
didn't even know about that until what? Okay,
I'm just
so
here.
people,
I'm just here.
we're talking about nutrition. We're talking about a whole bunch of different things. So
Thanks, Louise. Wonderful.
Motivation Monday, we call this one.
Okay. Awesome. 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 Thank you guys for joining us on Tweed Talks.
You said
We'll
that.
see you next time.
You said that.
Bye.